Long ago in Kyoto, there was a young man living in poverty. He was so destitute that he didn't even know if he would have food to eat the next day. Determined to seek divine intervention, he decided to visit a reputed temple to pray for blessings. Hearing that genuine sincerity was crucial for receiving blessings, he embarked on a long journey to reach the temple. For 10 days, he devoutly worshipped, hoping that the gods would rescue him from his dire situation. On the 10th day, a voice resonated within the temple saying, "The reason for your current poverty is the karmic consequence of misdeeds in a past life. However, due to your sincere prayers, I have good news for you. On your way back to Kyoto, whatever you find in your hands, consider it a treasure bestowed upon you by the Buddha. Now, go back." The young man expressed his gratitude, and as he returned, he reached the temple gate and accidentally tripped over something. "Ouch, that hurts, how unfortunate!" Upon standing up, he discovered that he was holding a straw in his hand. "What is this? What use does it have?" he wondered. Nevertheless, as it was the first thing he obtained on his journey home, he thought, "I must not discard it, or I would go against the words of the Bodhisattva. I will preserve it carefully." He continued walking while holding the straw. At that moment, a small insect appeared out of nowhere, buzzing annoyingly around his face. Irritated, the young man captured the insect, using one end of the straw to tie it up, and the other end tied to a small twig. He held the twig, allowing the insect to fly alongside him. As he proceeded, a splendid palanquin approached, surrounded by numerous attendants. Assuming it belonged to someone of high status coming to worship at the temple, he stepped aside, allowing the palanquin to pass. As the palanquin passed by the young man, a little boy inside leaned out, and upon seeing the small twig in the young man's hand, with the insect tied to it, began clamoring, "I want that! I want that!" Knowing that the child would create a fuss if he couldn't have the insect, the attendants were troubled. They approached the young man and politely requested, "Our young master wants what you have. We sincerely apologize. Could you please give it to him?" Although the young man wasn't particularly attached to the small insect, giving it away would contradict the Bodhisattva's instructions. After a moment of contemplation, he decided, "Since the child desires it so much, I'll give it to him." He handed the insect over to the attendants. The attendants expressed gratitude, saying, "You're truly generous. As a token of appreciation, please accept this. When you're thirsty, feel free to eat it." They handed him 3 large oranges. During that time, oranges were a precious fruit not easily obtained. With one straw, the young man now had 3 valuable oranges. He continued his journey and encountered another peculiar situation. He noticed a young woman surrounded by numerous servants, lying under a tree by the roadside. Her face was pale, and she was breathing heavily, seeming very weak. Concerned, the young man approached and asked one of the servants, "What happened here?" The servant explained, "The lady collapsed due to thirst while walking. If she doesn't get water immediately, there's a risk to her life. Please, can you tell us where to find water?" The servant kept bowing and pleading. However, the young man didn't know where to find a well or spring. Shaking his head, he replied, "I don't know." Seeing the woman in distress, he felt a deep sympathy. He took out the oranges he had and said, "Give these to her right away. They will surely quench her thirst." Everyone was overjoyed, and they quickly gave all 3 oranges to the lady. Gradually, she regained her strength. Gratefully, she said, "Without your oranges, I might not have survived. You are my lifesaver." In gratitude, she gave him 3 pieces of high-quality fabric. The once mere straw had now transformed into 3 valuable pieces of cloth. Delighted, the young man continued his journey back to Kyoto. Later in the day, nearing evening, the young man reached the foot of the mountain and witnessed a samurai riding a powerful horse, accompanied by 2 followers. The horse looked majestic, leaving the young man in awe. However, as the horse approached, it suddenly collapsed and died. Due to the urgency of his mission, the samurai declared, "I'm in a hurry, so I'll leave. Please handle the dead horse as you see fit," and walked away, leaving his perplexed followers behind. Observing the situation, the young man took out one piece of fabric and said, "This is for you. Please give me the dead horse and I'll take care of it for you." The followers were grateful, saying, "Taking your fabric without reason is truly embarrassing. Since you're willing to help, please go ahead." With that, they hurriedly followed their master. The young man couldn't bear the thought of burying such a fine horse, considering it a waste. With unwavering determination, he prayed to the Bodhisattva, pleading for the horse's resurrection. His heartfelt plea moved the divine, and miraculously, the horse came back to life, prancing and frolicking around him. Overjoyed, the young man exclaimed in happiness. A mere straw had transformed into a splendid horse and 2 pieces of fabric. That evening, he sold the fabric and used the proceeds to buy a saddle and feed for the horse. The next morning, he rode the magnificent horse back to Kyoto. Approaching the city gate, he noticed a large house, seemingly in the process of moving. People were bustling in and out, busy organizing their belongings. The young man thought, "People who know me are aware of my poverty. If they see me riding such a good horse, they might accuse me of theft. Maybe I should ask if the people moving need a horse." He approached the owner of the house and inquired about their need for a horse. The owner explained, "I must travel to Kanto and require a horse. This one looks strong and I would love to buy it. Unfortunately, I currently lack funds. However, I own 3 acres of land, and my warehouse is stocked with plenty of rice. I'll give it all to you. After I move, this large house won't be occupied again. Since I have no children, consider the house a gift." In disbelief, the young man sold the horse to the homeowner. After the owner departed, the young man moved into the house, married, and started a family. With the passing years, the house's original owner never returned. Consequently, the young man became the wealthiest in the vicinity, living a content and happy life. In his home, they always honored the Bodhisattva, and in front of the deity, they placed the straw as a symbol of gratitude. Every member of the household held a deep conviction. Even something as seemingly insignificant as straw is a gift from the divine. We must never waste it carelessly.